Good morning. I'm just going to all right, I'm just going to let the choppiness, the initial internet choppiness settle, right? Okay. All right. Hey everybody, how are we going? So I was thinking about how yesterday, right? What's happened is the police have been called out for spending a very large amount of money and time and resources chasing me and vilifying me and defaming me and using all of these different ways of investigating me. So yesterday, after they were called out, after it was revealed to them who I work for and the damage that they've been doing, so what happened is my telephones here were confiscated by the police. And what the police, like about 4 years ago, what the police have had a backdoor into everything. So what these British and New Zealander police have been doing here is they've been doing foreigners, right? What we used to call in the factory foreigners, foreign missions, right? Missions they're not supposed to do. So they're like trying to change, they're here to try to change the balance of politics in Queensland, these Brits, right? So what has happened is the British police and the Australian police and a lot of the people in the bureaucrats in the army have turned on President Zelensky because now they see Zelensky as a puppet of Donald Trump. So what they're doing is they're the ones that are doing the nuclear brinksmanship. There's people in Germany and in other countries, right, that would prefer nuclear Armageddon in Europe than the Ukraine and Russia being able to end the war. And those people are still allowed and still being paid. You paid that motherfucker last night to drive past in the police car, right? And surveil me, right? The policewoman surveilled me fucking two or 3 days in a row. I've seen her, caught her surveilling me, right? So I'm not with her. She's cool. I don't have any problems with her. With chicks and stuff, right? People are weird with me. So if I like people, man, I don't give a fuck, right? But I just want to say, like, so the cops, man, what they're doing is these British police were backdooring information to Thailand, and they were pushing Thailand to fucking fight with Cambodia instead of pushing for peace. And then they were trying to get a political to get their political ends here. And like last night, they're still following me around. They're still spending Australian taxpayers' dollars on saying that the person that has this flag here is a problem, is an anti-Semitic problem. Okay? Okay? Man, I'm not my family. I stay by myself pretty much, right? Pretty much I stay by myself. I see my family once a day for about 20 minutes usually. Okay? My brother's family. Okay? You guys have been following me around, fucking my life up for 5 years, just making shit up about me and following me around and being psycho and showing everybody that you guys are really sick. So they're committed to killing me. So President Zelensky, can I have permission to fucking kill them? It's a good question, right? It is a good question. I asked this question yesterday, but now you see how I'm trained. If you see my training, you would see I'm very fucking disciplined, dude. So I'm trained to see hostile state actors and hostile non-state actors. So the Russians are hostile state actors. Hostile non-state actors are like the people that have businesses here that are working as confidential informants for the police or something like that. That's a hostile state actor, non-state actor. So like the civilians and stuff like that. So what I was saying yesterday is the people here in this state, they believe that the UN and law and that doesn't matter and that they can do whatever the fuck they want to do to me. And they can keep on lying about it. Instead of clearing it, they can keep on lying about it. And this is it. You say anything about these police and they retaliate, you have to get used to the fact that if you retaliate, the Ukrainian intelligence is going to retaliate and go, how many of Ukrainian children have died in the compromises that Michael Henshaw has experienced that have come from Australia? Okay, could you please do that math for me, President Zelensky, and also Yuk Chang? Okay, so if you could do the math and let me know how many Cambodians lost their lives because of the activity of these individuals, their operations, their covert operations to try to undermine and overthrow the current fucking administration, right? So what I'm like, I'm not somebody who's an anti-administration person. I'm pro Donald Trump. I'm pro Donald Trump. Everybody knows it. But I'm a blogger and a broadcaster and a writer and a singer and a songwriter and but I'm the fucking DIA guy. That's my identity. Everything else is secondary to my fucking identity, which is I'm fucking DIA and I'm a jock, right? So when you're a jock and you've been able to, like, I'm an individual sports jock. I'm a center in basketball. So that's like a position where you're always like lording it over people and shit, kind of fucking just jumping and everything, right? And then on individual sports, martial arts, boxing, kickboxing, all this different shit, right? So that makes me who I am. And then, so when you work for the DIA and you grew up with your father telling you about John Fitzgerald Kennedy and like PT 109, and you built PT 109 models and all that type of stuff, read everything about Kennedy, and then your dad made you watch 13 Days and like study it type of thing, and then your dad went overseas and started hanging out with those type of people that he was always talking up and stuff, right? And then you end up over there, and then you end up in this type of thing. So my identity and the way forward, I don't care like people saying that I'll be blacklisted. I've been blacklisted because I nearly killed somebody on stage that tried to Dimebag Darrell me a few years back. That's what the go is with me. That's why I got off the stage, man. That's why I wasn't able to fucking work, man. But the dude that came after me was a bad motherfucker, and he was doing bad. And I was up on stage singing songs. So with me, these people are telling you that like I want to stick stuff up your bum and all this. I want to fucking do gay shit with you and stuff to the women and stuff, right? That's not true, right? The truth is I'm looking for a wife, right? I'm looking for somebody that I can have a fucking family with, right? That's what I'm looking for. Or somebody that I can be in a relationship that will lead to that. Because I realized, like, when I was young, and I had my girlfriend when I was young, she and I were together for about 5 years, and then we broke up. But what probably would have happened is I should have like married her before that point, or it wouldn't have happened like that. And that's kind of the progression here in Australia, how it works, right? My songs are about different stuff. Meth Town is more about Ray Ray and her partner than it is anybody else. And it's about some stuff here, but it's more about this lady called Ray Ray who sits on the pokies up at the commercial and her life. Okay. Sorry to be rude, but it's true. But they worked out with me that I was real. Like, for example, this jacket, right? When I was working as a barman and they saw this flap like that, And they were like, holy shit. And then they were like, what? And they're like, look at that. Like, what? She's like, he's used, that's a fucking pistol flap. That's for a shooter. It is. It's a pistol flap. Cambodian bodyguard shirt. Okay. So Thailand, I want to be saying only good things about you from now on. Could you please do that for me, Thailand? Can you please make it that we no longer have any bad things to say? I'm very grateful that you released the prisoners. I've heard that there's been some drones at the border and stuff at the border that's could threaten peace. But look, I see it this way. There's going to be drone activity at the border on both sides, isn't there, really, even with peace after this, right? So just as long as you don't shoot at each other or kill each other, that's the most important thing. So like here, I was like, just before the war, so the New Zealanders and the Brits timed dropping the information on me with the war because Thai intelligence has been involved in coming after me since the beginning with Tuki or whatever, which was the police's fake, their fake, or the Thai person that was working with the police that was threatening to disseminate pictures of my penis, right? So this is the thing, right? I've got like a PDF with pictures of my penis that I sent off to some women and stuff, right? I know that sounds rude. It's fucking rude, I know. But I have sent off the penis PDF. And what is in the penis PDF is like full glory, not like it's a sleep type of thing. I mean, like fully ready to go. I sent that off. So women, and I send it like off with pictures in comparison with objects, right? Like that's what I'm famous for doing, right? It's infamous. It's infamous, not famous. Infamous, right? Because these women have been telling everybody that like my dick's like 2 inches or something like that, right? So I sent off the stuff. I've met porn star chicks, and then like I've sent off pictures to them and stuff as well. Okay. Why did I do it? Because the Kiwi police and the British police here have been holding on to this stuff, thinking that the reason why, like, I didn't, like, why I've been shy about the blackmailing is my dick, but it's not. It's the women involved, right? So there's been videos of sex videos of me with women and stuff, and like women in Asia, they cover up their faces with pillows and shit like that because they don't want anybody to find out because they've probably got a fucking partner or something like that, right? Husband or something. Okay, so but so there's been this undertow of stuff that had to happen in the undeclared, right? Locally here and internationally in some ways, right? For everybody here to leave me alone because the police have been running around saying I'm a cuck and all this type of shit. It's like, dude, I'm capable, motherfucker. They're making out like I'm not hung and stuff. I'm hung, dude, and I'm capable. And these dudes have been running around saying weird shit. Weird shit. And I'd say, like, people would say the same thing about my older brother, right? My older brother, apparently, like, you know, he's a surf lifesaver and everything, right? Everybody's seen his wiener and everything. But like when my brother's wiener's fucking rock and rolling and ready to go, like that's why all the women, all the fucking hotties on the Sunshine Coast used to chase him, and all the women on the Gold Coast and stuff. And that's how he got the wife that he got and stuff, right? My brother was known for my older brothers were known for being D grade celebrities, if you want to put it that way. Okay. My older brothers. So I'm nothing compared to my older brothers, even, dudes. But I'm saying what you've been saying that I am is not true. The other shit is not true. It was a hoax. So there's this hoax document when they were coming after me and stuff that I put out like 5 years ago or something with some stuff in there that Mark Hammer Dixon helped me put together with a few jokes that he learned from Roger Rogers and Dick Jones and stuff like that, right? And tricks and stuff, right? That Roger Rogerson told him. And he told me, like, it'd be funny if you did this because Roger told me about this. And I was like, okay, let's do it. Because Roger was still in jail and he wasn't dead yet. Roger Rogerson was the policeman that shot all the people and stuff. So yeah, so if you look at what we do, and that's how my brain's formatted, if across those documents, right? Like I'm looking at people, like looking at the how I weigh the law all the time, and how I weigh the law. So these British douchebags and these fucking Kiwi douchebags and these Australian douchebags, guys just break, oh, I'm just going to break the federal law because of, as I said yesterday, right? Your qualified immunity is only as good as the five or six acts that make it capable for them to swear you in as an officer, and then therefore you would be a sworn QPS officer. Okay, but what you guys have been doing and you're continuing to do is breaking federal law and doing foreigners, right, on your police time, taking up police time with following me and intimidating me and surveilling me and sticking a gun to my fucking face. So if I say, fuck you, don't stick a gun to my fucking face, or you guys, as I told you guys last year in 2025, or you're going to become the fucking target. Now, as I said, I sent emails off to President Zelensky. Now you motherfuckers are the targets. You think it's a fucking joke, man. They think it's a joke. They think it's a huge fucking game. So, hey, Tom Segura. Hey, Christina P. Hey, Bert Kreischer. Thanks for hanging in here, dudes. I know it's been a pretty fucking radical ride. Weird dude that backed up Paulie Shaw on the Tony Hinchcliffe argument is fucking emailing us about Garth Brooks and then fucking outlaw motorcycle people pinching pieces of steel, and then like all this other stuff about all of his bona fides about being in the DIA, and then he's just fucking up all these cops in front of us and stuff, and then telling this policewoman, I love you, but you tried to murder me, right? They're like, this is fucking pretty crazy. Dave's fucking Howard Stern show, and I'm reporting to people that like put shit into can make it to the presidential daily briefing. So like what I do is like reporting with the intention of getting it to president, like the PDB, right? But sometimes the chances of getting it there is very fucking slim. But that's a type of documentation that I put together, the type of documentation that would reach a PDB. Okay. And it's from the DIA experience. So as I said, like how I do music, there's different ways, and I look at things differently now, right? From like onboard and different pedals and stuff, and what I can do, and dub, right? Because I can sing anything, but like I don't have a band. That's a problem, and I have to use particular people and backing tracks and shit to be able to accomplish that. It's a fact I'm not playing, and then like I don't think that I'll ever really be able to play a guitar because my hand's fucked. My right hand's fucked again, or even like try to do it because my hand's rooted, and this hand's rooted too. This hand was rooted first, and this hand's rooted second. Okay, that's why my hands look the way they do, like the claw and stuff, and it looks like I'm doing cool hands. It's not I'm doing cool hands. It's my hands are fucking broken. See? Broken. So you're just trying to be a working class person and just live your life, a normal life, and then you've got all of these fucking people that are fucking neo-fascist neocons they won't say it to your face, right? But they'll go and they'll do all of this shit. So you're already fucked, right? That's it. You're already fucked. and you could make it much worse for yourself, or you could make it better for yourself, right? But the policewoman that I fucking swore about yesterday, she let this homeless cunt beat me up. And I'm sorry about people that are fucking homeless and stuff, but this guy was a homeless cunt. Beat me up with a walking stick outside after he was saying racist stuff to the Indian people over there. And then Teresa and Marty didn't do fucking shit about it. They let it go. They blamed it on me, and they blamed it on the fucking Pakistani people, dude. They're fucking rude, man. They're fucking rude, the cops here. So the underlying thing is I sent the earrings, and like I went there with the earrings and a cake when the mafia trying to fucking abduct me, right? I was in the movie Passport to Love. People go, why would you do something so extremely weird? But I've been in a movie that's kind of like weird or whatever, you know, so I did something like that. Anyway, so the police went crazy and told me this isn't fucking America. Do you understand? This isn't fucking America and all this stuff. And then this Indian or Pakistani friend of mine, I won't tell you which one, he showed up and he does Uber, and he went to deliver the cake, and he picked up the cake from Cheesecake Shop in Kawana. Okay. Fucking great shop. I've got to say, Cheesecake Shop in Kawana, you guys are terrific. My mum and my niece and my nephew and my brother and everything and his flatmate, we ended up eating the said baked American cheesecake, and it was a wonderful cheesecake. I've got to say it. It was a little bit too sweet for my liking now. When I was a fat kid, it was better, but it was so awesome, right? So I went there to give it to the police as an offering, and they said, fucking eat it because you're going to need it. You know what I mean? Like, you're going to need the food. You need to eat, right? And you're going to need it. And then they starved me for a year. And then they came after me, and they're all Italians and shit. And it was okay for them to do it because the Brits here and the Italians are telling you about my identity. So if a fucking poofter can identify with pink hair to be a fucking girl, right? I'm saying this shit to these fucking faggot cops, right? If a poofter can identify as a fucking girl, right? And a girl can identify as a man, why am I not allowed to identify as an Ashkenazi Jew? Why? Oh, I checked your DNA. Yeah, okay, you found Ashkenazi Jewish DNA, German DNA there, right? Okay, you know the backgrounds. You can say that that's German. Then look at this. Okay, boom. Okay, you do not racially define people by the Nuremberg race laws. This is the problem. The QPS and the Queensland system and the Australian system has a white Australia policy way of classifying people, which is exactly identical to the Nuremberg race laws. One of the problems that a lot of the Jewish people also have is they relate and identify themselves across the Nuremberg race laws and tell you. So Jewish people before the war would tell you who was a real Jew, who isn't a real Jew, and all this type of shit. Since the war, it doesn't really matter, as you see with Donald Trump. With Donald Trump getting the thing, he's completely non-Jewish, right? With me, I identified with Judaism through Matisyahu in 2004. And I left Australia with Al Green's album and fucking Matisyahu's album. And then I listened to that so much, like I flogged that Matisyahu album in the car with my driver, who still chimes in on stuff on my YouTube, right? Hill, right? Mr. Hill. I have to put this up on YouTube. We used to listen to Matisyahu. Then when the Obama thing happened, I was in Vietnam and I had Jewish friends and I started to go to Chabad with them. And then we started to eat and stuff. And then it went from eating to then them inviting me to go upstairs and then them teaching me Hebrew and teaching me tefillin And then like me hanging out with Jewish friends and going around and putting together business deals and all this type of shit all around Asia and also in America, right? So I move in the Jewish. I've been moving like my friend Eric Liebman, right? His name is Eric Londers. His original name is Eric Londers, right? He's like me. He's like mostly like American or something, but he does have a Jewish background. And for him, he wanted to go by the Jewish name in Hollywood because it makes it easier. So with me, like if when you hear like I am Rappaport podcast, right? If it was like if I had my name, if my last name was Stackelroth, it would be like Michael Rappaport, you know what I mean? David Stackelroth would sound a lot like Michael Rappaport in a similar type of thing. And that's what I got to say about Michael Rappaport. Like everything that I do is because of Michael Rappaport. He's the reason that I got into acting. He's the first person that like I realized like acting. And also I got to say, I've said before on here the other day that what's his name? He's the greatest living actor. John Malkovich, right? I said that he's the greatest living actor with not including Kevin Spacey and people like that. Okay. And like, I know the controversy about Kevin Spacey and stuff, but I got to say, like, he was discovered by some pretty heavy duty mafia dudes from New Jersey, from what I understand, and places like that. And if he was like no good, he would be done. Okay, like completely done. Never wouldn't have got anywhere and stuff. But he's a good actor, and I love his style and all that stuff. All the movies he's done, Beyond the Sea and shit like that. I fucking love his stuff, man. And he's been vilified and all that type of stuff, whatever. But I mean, if you know that I'm a huge Spacey fan, it makes a lot more sense, right? About me and everything, my style. Because I remember with Alphonse and everything, right? I asked him if Kevin Spacey was what was the go with him, and he said like he pretty much told me like I was really strange. He just gave me a strange answer type of thing, like a non-answer. And that was before everything happened, because I was like, you know, you discovered him, right? And you put him in Wise Guy as the drug dealer kingpin and stuff. Okay. Like, what was the go? And he's like, well, when I first met him, as far as I was concerned, I think he was married to a woman when I first met him, when I first discovered him, blah, blah, blah. Okay. But who cares? You know what I mean? I think everybody figured out that Kevin Spacey was a homosexual. Who cares? My older brother Fraser is a homosexual. He was somewhat of a role model to me too. Okay. But I'm not gay. I'm straight. I want to have kids and have a woman that is there and all that type of stuff. And I don't want all this really bad stuff to happen with everybody. Okay. So Thailand, I love you. Thank you for standing down. Russia and the Ukraine, we need to sort the stuff out. And we've got to stop these local flare-ups here, guys. Got to think about, like, just civil liberties, Pilgrim's Progress. Like, just let this fucking dude do something. Like, you're a migrant to a country and you're making an example of somebody that remigrated to their own country. That's a British and Australian citizen. And you think that you can hurt me because of that. We can hurt all of you, man. And I don't want to be saying violent stuff on here. I don't want to be perpetuating what you're trying to do. What you want is a reason to shoot me dead because you've fucking put it down on paper that I'm your target, that you're going to murder extrajudicially because I know too much about what you're doing. So use some common sense and think, oh, wow, if this dude wasn't former DIA and wasn't completely realizing what we were doing, it would be a completely different situation, wouldn't it? Good morning and good evening, everybody. I love you. Happy New Year. This is the first of the year. Hogmanay. 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 Happy New Year.